All right, this one, man, this is going to be a grind. 1 hour post-game show till we get to 4 p.m. Then Brad Muller takes over with the pregame 4:30 tip. The number 2 ranked Gamecock women will take on Duke in this Players Classic Challenge, whatever it's called. It's kind of cool how this thing is going on, and we'll talk more about it during the show because the men, they'll have their final, Michigan and Gonzaga tonight. But, hey, the big story here, forget South Carolina Clemson, forget Gamecock Hoops. We got a special guest. Hi, sir. How you doing, man? Yeah. And first of all, we're happy to have you. You know that. We've missed you. We're happy to have you. Glad you're hanging in there. And, it was funny. You and I were talking today, and you called me on your way back. And I said, dude, we got a 1 hour show today. And you're like, oh, heck, I can knock that out. Let's go. Right. All right, so we do have this little thing called South Carolina Clemson on Saturday. And we've yipped about it out, obviously, the last couple days. And, and obviously I want to throw it over to you, your thoughts. But and Ryan Brewer kind of put it the best yesterday. It's like, yes, both teams had disappointing seasons, but none of that matters when you tee it up noon Saturday. The natural rivalry and all that comes with it will take over any disappointment of what 2025 has been for both South Carolina and Clemson. Hmm. And you just be aggressive and let it all hang out. This is your bowl game. It's your rivalry game, and really it's your bowl game because you're not going to go bowling. Go out there and put your foot on the gas and just, empty it, right? Empty the chamber, empty the tank, whatever you want to call it. You have nothing to lose here. You really don't. And so I hope we see aggressiveness on both sides of the ball, aggressiveness in the game planning and the play calling. And, hey, just let it roll, man. Like you said, you're favored. No, like I said, you're favored. Go get them. Mm-mm. Mm-hmm. Oh, I can see the under. I can see the under, yes. Right. No, I wouldn't. Last year, I think you kind of rolling down the right path with you see a game like we witnessed last year, lower scoring, close. Who wins the fourth quarter? And last year, South Carolina won the fourth quarter. And uh, I guess the thing about this, Jay, is when you look at the path to win for the Gamecocks, is one thing we talk about defense for South Carolina. First of all, Kate Klubnik and Garrett Riley these last 2 years have not had any answers for, or last year, Garrett Riley, and the year before, Garrett Riley's predecessor. Clemson on offense struggled for the last 2 years against South Carolina's defense. Klubnik has not been good this year when pressured. He's been pressured like 35% of his dropbacks, and I think he's completed like 46% of his throws under pressure. So if you can get some heat on Klubnik, that's a good thing. Klubnik's not using his legs like he did last year either. Why? I don't know. I just. Mm-hmm. Yep. No, I mean he's been dealing with this hip for a while now. Let him rest, give him a couple weeks, and unleash him against the Clemson offensive line. That at least they've been consistent, Jay. They've been struggling in the pass protection and run blocking. So South Carolina can get after this offensive line, and that's another thing. So Dylan Stewart closer to healthy is a good thing, especially when you're attacking the Clemson offense. Absolutely. And look, I said this yesterday. Brewer and I were talking about. I have talked to multiple Clemson fans. I have not, in my 4 years here, talked to Clemson fans who were more not confident in their football team. I've heard so much as South Carolina's going to win, right? South Carolina's going, and like I had one guy yesterday, he's like about his Clemson Tigers. He's like, we got no chance. We're not going to win. He said, all you guys have to do is score 20. This year has been so disappointing. So I mean, the Clemson folks. It's almost weird, Jay, how not confident they are in their football team for Saturday, and just from a fan perspective. That was that game. I think you and I talked about it on the air. You have these games where you say, man, it's a shame that some team had to lose. That game was, man, it's a shame some team had to win. That thing was a mess. Oh, that was a mess, Louisville and Clemson. Whew. I have never seen, have you ever, can I ask you a question? Can you remember seeing a fourth quarter like that? It was insane. I was trying to think of it. It was awful. It was terrible. It's like, no, you have it. No, you have it. No, I insist. It was bad, man. Yeah, it was, look, Clemson, look, both of these teams are talented. There's a reason why these are two of the four most underachieving teams in America. Let's just be honest. There's talent on both sides of the ball on both these squads. And so, I mean, no one would be surprised if we saw that talent pop in some way, shape, or form on Saturday because, again, these are two teams that were thought highly of coming into the year. And along with Penn State and LSU, I think they're the four most underachieving squads in America. Oh yeah, they had. Remember, they kept the roster intact. They had all that talent coming from a college football playoff run, and everybody said, "Well, heck, you got this roster together. This is a crew of people who have played together for X amount of years. You look what you did last year. This is a national championship contender." That's all we heard, right? Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, well, we got sound from Ed Bird talking in the hallway to David Dare. We're going to play that. Mm-hmm. Like that one time. Anyway, Tara, I'm running late. Why? My alarm just went off at the house. Yeah. Gotta go home. All right, coming back. Shane Beamer talking about trying to beat Clemson at home. That's next here on the post game show on the game.
Yep.
All right, it's the abbreviated version of the postgame show. Terry Ford, Jay Phillips, our buddy Commander Ed Bird on the controls as we get ready for Gamecock women's basketball. Brad Muller on the call, 4 o'clock pre, 4:30 tip against Duke out in Vegas. All right, cut 7 here, Ed Bird. Let's grab a little Shane Beamer talking about, now, the Gamecocks have gotten Clemson the last 2 times in the upstate. But getting a win at home, it's been a bit. It's been a minute. Here's Shane Beamer talking about beating Clemson at Willie B.
Yeah, I tend to look at it as I'm undefeated in 12 noon games, and I haven't won at night is how I try to look at it. So we play at noon, so I'm hoping it's a noon thing and not a home or away thing. No, I think both games were – 2021 was one I would like to forget. That wasn't much fun. But those other 3 games, 22, 23, 24, were very much – could go either way. And, 23 was a dogfight. We did not do much offensively, to say the least. We held them to field goals in the red zone, but didn't play great. And then we've played well in all 3 phases when we've gone up there. So it is random. It's very rarely, it is rare. You don't really see a rivalry game where the away team has won however many straight years that it's been. But I think it's more, I know there'll be orange in the stands on Saturday, and there'll be tons of garnet and black in the stands on Saturday, just like when we go up there to their place. So I think it's more than anything just playing well. And for whatever reason, we have not played well in our stadium, and they have played better than us and coached better than us in our stadium. And what we need to focus on Saturday is not home, away, what color uniform we're wearing, any of that stuff, what time we're playing, but just preparing to go play well and play clean, winning football on Saturday at 12 noon.
So Shane kind of talking about, this weird dynamic, Jay, of the road teams are winning in this rivalry here lately.
Yeah, and, that there's been a time, I remember back in the 90s that happened when Carolina won 3 straight in Clemson. And maybe, I don't know if we're headed towards something like that right now or not when it comes to this particular rivalry. Gamecock fans would hope not, that instead Carolina turns that corner. I don't know if it's a noon thing or not. I wouldn't say that. I thought the game here 2 years ago was a fantastic game. Excuse me, minus, one hiccup right at the beginning of the ball game, Terry. And if you could have everything else be equal, it's a whole different mindset. But unfortunately, because remember, Clemson didn't score an offensive touchdown. Carolina's defense was brilliant that night. You need to see something like that again. And I think the defense for Clayton's been great the last couple of games against Clemson. So, again, here's another opportunity to go get it done.
Yeah, and like you said, like we've talked about, South Carolina's favored in this game, despite, what has gone on for the Gamecocks in 2025. And Clayton he's won the battle the last 2 years, going up against the Clemson offense. And offensively, look, Tom Allen likes to blitz a ton. That's one thing the Clemson defensive coordinator, he digs, sending multiple guys. But their secondary has really struggled this year in coverage and tackling. If you can get the ball out to your playmakers quick, neutralize the blitz, Jay, and get the ball to your receivers, whether it's Sellers, Rowe, Bennett, whoever, Brown, you get your yak guys the ball in some space, there's a good chance they can break a tackle or two and make something happen.
And that's the real trick this weekend, and that we see enough of that last weekend, and maybe even going back to the first game Mike Furry called, in terms of just trying to find ways to not only get the ball out quicker, Terry, but move Lenoris out and maybe give Lenoris some more options. Last year we know this was a Lenoris kind of game. We know the winning touchdown, obviously, and what he was able to do. Do we anticipate something like that again? Not so sure. But, when Lenoris is pressured, we see him get out of it enough, not as much as you want. And yes, again, I come back around to the he's taken too many sacks and too many bad plays for good reasons kind of a thing. But we've also seen him be pressured and chased and escape and do Lenoris things. So, again, man, I want more of that.
Yes.
So whatever that has to look like, I am here for that, and I do think that needs to be, part of the discussion. But how to get him out in some space, how to give him something when it comes to run pass options. But I'm with you, and I think of late here between, Jaden, between Murph, between Rowe, getting those guys involved. Nick Harbor didn't play last week. Is he going to be ready to go again? I think that was more of a holding him out just because there was no reason to play him last weekend. So how does he feel this week? Can you get some big plays on that secondary you're talking about? I believe there are options, but I also know that Clemson's got a couple of potential first-rounders on that defense. So, they'll want to make a name for themselves Saturday too. That's why I like where this back and forth could go.
Yeah, and look, I would be surprised if either team pulled away and this thing was a snoozer in the fourth quarter. I just think the way both these teams have played this year and the way things have gone, and you brought up some of the red zone issues that both squads have had on offense. Look, anything can happen, man. And obviously, we sit here rooting for a big South Carolina victory by multiple touchdowns and Cocky's in the game playing running back. But I just feel like this thing is going to be a one-score deal in the fourth quarter.
I do too. And I picked a one-score game. Without saying anything else, I picked a one-score. I'll leave that. Like I said, I'll leave that for Jack's thing to come out on Friday, and we'll discuss it afterwards.
All right, college football playoff. The committee popped out another poll last night, and I think the AD from Arkansas need to stop talking.
Well, before we get to the nuts and bolts,
yeah, we'll get to it in the next segment.
The whole daggum show needs to go away. It's just. I mean, I don't know. Look, Terry, I don't even. I mean, it was on last night because we got back to the hotel and I put it on. I typically don't watch it at home, but I watched for about 3 minutes. I was like, and I just turned it off.
I'll be honest with you.
I don't like it. It's. I hate to say it this way. It's worthless. It's a worthless 30 minutes.
I'll say this. I did not watch. You watched 3 minutes more than I did. I just jumped on the internet last night to watch some of the cuts and clips. And I'm just like, I stopped watching it last year. I watched it maybe the first 3 or 4 times, and I was just like, I'm done. I'll just go online and watch whatever I can find with the clips of it. I'm with you. I could do without it. I know why. I know why ESPN has it. I know it pulls ratings and numbers. I get it. Blah, blah, blah. But for me personally, I'm
trying to figure out who finds it interesting. I'm trying to find out what kind of college football, because I know college football fans that feel like I do about college football.
Yeah.
And none of them watch it. Who wants to watch that show?
I don't find it interesting at all for myself. I just really don't.
Again, if you want me to have something interesting, give me the fly on the wall camera.
Absolutely.
Let Heather Dinich and Ross Dellinger and Stuart Mandel and Andy Staples and Ari Wasserman break it down for us.
I'll tell you, here's the point. I love that. Now, let Reese Davis host that. Let Reese Davis or whoever host that with the people who really cover the CFP the way those folks do. Let them sit and give their insights and thoughts and opinions on what's going on in that room. That, my friend, I would watch.
But that's what they need to get. I mean, I don't want to watch 4 hours of that, but no. But their meeting needs to be streamed.
I think so too.
Or again, let those guys you even make it private, but let those people watch it. But what we get, 10 minutes of fluff.
No, it's just. Yeah, I'm down with you. I haven't watched it since last year. I just go online and I'll hit YouTube or go to ESPN and watch the highlights of it, and then that's it. I'm on my merry way. It's the way I do it, man.
Going to YouTube. Way to go, man.
Look at that. Look at that. Yeah. All right, we'll come back here. We will talk about what happened last night with the new college football playoff poll. That is next here on the abbreviated postgame show. We go till 4, then Brad takes over, and Carolina women's basketball against Duke. 4:30 tip, 4 o'clock pregame right here on the game. All right, little shorty of the post-game show with Terry Ford and Jay Phillips and Ed Bird. Going to the top of the hour, 4 o'clock. Then Brad Muller and Ed Bird take over the ship, and we have Carolina women's basketball against Duke, 4 o'clock pre, 4:30 tip from Vegas. And depending on what happens, if South Carolina wins, I think they play the early game then at 8 p.m. If they lose, they play the late game, which will be at like 10:30. So that is coming up here on the game today and tomorrow. All right, Jay Phillips. Here is
by the way, when my wife and I were on our honeymoon in Vegas, we were there on Easter Sunday, and we did the Easter Sunday buffet at the Mirage.
Ooh.
And it was nice.
I bet.
What is a Thanksgiving buffet like in Vegas?
That's got to be ridiculous, right?
I mean, that might almost be, like a lot of things in Vegas, sinful.
It would be.
Right? But how awesome would that be, man?
That would be a phenomenal buffet, wouldn't it? Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know who has the best one. I mean, the Mirage probably isn't what it used to be, like relative to when we were there, because the honeymoon was a while ago. Mm-hmm. But,
well, man,
like what's I don't know where, man, like Bellagio.
Well,
or
when you
something.
got married, I mean, let's face it. I mean, people were still listening to CDs in their car.
Yeah, well, no, I thought you were going to say AM radio.
I figured you were off AM radio by then. I figured you were popping the CD player, maybe the cassette deck. I don't know.
Maybe 8-track.
Man,
yeah,
was there internet when you got married?
Barely. It had that cool dial-up sound.
Yeah, didn't you love that AOL? That was so good.
Yeah. Well, that
So
commercial Lawyer Lisa runs is pretty funny.
How funny
you're old
is
enough
that?
to remember this.
Oh, it's so funny.
That means you're old.
Yeah, buddy.
But yeah, so I don't know, man. But kudos to those who traveled out to see Dawn's team in Vegas and then get a Thanksgiving buffet, because that's probably going to be all right.
And real quick, it'll be interesting. Duke plays slow. They want every game to be a rock fight, and just like last year in the NCAA tournament. And South Carolina, that'll be a nice little test.
But Duke's had a rough start, man. They're 3-3, and they're not up to what I think Kara wants them to be. So
nope. Well, how about remember they lost that game against West Virginia when all the West Virginia players fouled out and they only had 5 players.
Yeah, that was and I hate to say it this way, but that was a bad loss.
Oh, that was.
You can't have that happen. But I anticipate a South Carolina win today.
Yeah, so I think so too. And then they move on to play either UCLA or Texas, and I would like to see them play UCLA because they're going to play Texas in the conference. So it'd be nice to see them.
I think it sounds like Texas is winning that game.
I haven't checked it yet. I will take your word for it. Good deal.
Sounds right. Going to the fourth quarter.
All righty. Here's the deal. College football playoff came out. You got the same top 5. Pretty much, it's what we got. I'll do it off the top of my head. Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M.
Yep.
Georgia, Texas Tech are the top 5.
Yep.
Correct. I saw something interesting. I was just sitting around waiting for my food at the restaurant here for lunch. Guess how many teams that are in the college football playoff have a top 20 strength of schedule?
In the top, top 5,
that would make the college football playoff like the top 12-ish.
Okay, they have a top 20
strength of schedule.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm looking at it right now. I would think Oklahoma does.
Oklahoma's one of them.
Alabama's beaten 4 ranked.
Ding, ding. You got another one. There's one more.
Either Georgia or A&M?
Georgia. Those 3. A&M's outside the top, like at 23. Out of the top 5, Georgia's got the toughest strength of schedule in those top 5 than A&M. Texas Tech strength of schedule is like 50-something. So there's only 3 teams in this top 12 with a strength of schedule in the top 20. That's
What's
it.
Indiana's strength of schedule?
38 or something like that, 36, 38. And Ohio State's like 52.
Yeah.
So that strength of schedule metric is really.
And Ohio State played Texas, man. That's the thing.
So take that one away.
It's still bad.
Exactly. So anyway, I thought that was fascinating. It's like, remember all this strength of schedule talk coming into this thing, and only
Yep.
3 teams that would be in the college football playoff right now have the strength of schedule in the top 20. Just something to throw out there. Just get a little something there for you.
And Ohio State and Michigan are on a collision course, for a loser to probably drop out of the. I don't see. Look, well, I don't know what else holds. So, just looking at it, man. I mean, Texas Tech and BYU are probably headed to a rematch. Honestly, Terry, I'll go ahead and let this cat out of the bag. I picked Texas to beat Texas A&M.
So did I, man. So did I. I really did. It's in Austin. Too, Texas has players. We keep forgetting they are very talented.
Texas is good. I mean, A&M's been playing really well. I'm not taking anything.
I just feel like A&M's due for a loss. Does that sound as simple as that?
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, let me go back and double check. But I believe I looked the other day. I haven't looked this week, I don't think. But the last time I looked, Texas was the slight percentage favorite, and I mean slight.
Yep.
I'm looking right now. Yeah, Texas 51.5 to 48.5. So toss up, but it's in Austin, and I do think that's going to matter.
I do too. I think I picked Texas to win that game. That was my quote unquote upset of my picks for Gamecock Central. Look, look, the Big 12. I mean, let's face it. Brent Yormark would love to see BYU beat Texas Tech in the Big 12 championship game. That's his hope of getting 2 teams in the playoff. Because Texas Tech's in. You know what though, man? And I know you and I talk about this every bleeping week. The more I look at this, I mean, look, Notre Dame has no business being ahead of Alabama in any way, shape, or form. They just don't. Alabama's strength of schedule is better. Alabama's resume is better. Their wins are better. This smooching of the backside of Notre Dame is always hilarious to me. It just is.
The Alabama, what they're holding against Alabama is the loss to a now just mid Florida State team. That's it. That's what they're going to hold on to.
You know what it gets
relative to Alabama beating their the committee's number 4 team. The committee's number 14 team, the committee's number 19 team, and I guess Missouri has dropped out. But, so, I mean, hey, committee, you're ranking these teams, and meanwhile, Notre Dame has 1 ranked win over the number 3 team, but it was at their house, Notre Dame's house.
A&M beat Notre Dame.
Oh, that's right. My bad. Yeah. No. So wait. No. Southern Cal. Sorry. Southern Cal. I'm sorry. I had that reversed in my head.
You're okay.
So Southern Cal's number 17. So, I mean, Alabama has wins over number 4 in Athens, and at home over Vanderbilt, and then they beat Tennessee. So I don't.
Let's take it a step further. Is okay. You don't obviously you're looking at who you lose to more than who you beat, because obviously Notre Dame's ahead of Miami, and Miami beat Notre Dame head to head. So that doesn't matter. I mean, it's just so. What's the rhyme or reason here? It's like, all right, does I guess so? What we're looking at is who you lose to matters more than who you beat, which that shouldn't make sense. Look, this thing just, I just shake my head. Every time I look at it, there's no rhyme or reason to what they do in any way, shape, or form.
They've almost admitted to us that they're, once we get to the final evaluations, all these things could change. I'm
okay.
Why are you doing it now?
Well, you know what they're doing, too, I think is kind of interesting? They're slowly, like Michigan's to 15. So if Michigan does pull the upset of Ohio State, now you have them in position where they could jump up into the college football playoff, and you wouldn't go, "Wow, where'd that come from?"
Well, if Michigan, I'll say, Terry, if Michigan wins that game, I don't think it's an if, man.
No, they're in. No, they're in if they win that game. And Ohio State will tumble down some, but Ohio State will still be in as well.
Yeah.
It's just the whole thing. It's almost like they just make up the rules as they go along. That's it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're not using any kind of precedent, whatever else.
Not at all. You ready for a little J or nay?
I am.
All right, let's roll that next. Our final segment of the postgame show next here on the game. Final segment before we hit the top of the hour with Brad Mueller and Ed Bird and the Gamecock women in Vegas taking on the Duke Blue Devils. And our correspondent out in Vegas with a score update with Texas and UCLA is Jay Phillips. What do you got?
Well, I actually heard that through my headset, so now I have to go back to the scoreboard because I was I was now doing some more deep dives on some of the college football playoff stuff. So while you get Ed Bird to cue the music,
I will have the music.
I'll get you.
Now give me a score update, Ed Bird. Give us a little game show
Texas, music. It's a Texas by 10, 64-54 with 6 minutes to play.
All right. There we go then.
It's like Texas is on their way to a win.
So we get Texas and South Carolina version 75 in the last 2 years.
Yeah,
all righty. All right, here we go, my man.
All right.
Jay or nay? A Charlie Brown Thanksgiving.
Jay, love it. It's a little different than the Halloween and Christmas ones because it's made a few years later. It's more of it's got that more hip early 70s vibe relative to the late 60s. But no, we're big fans, and we will be watching that here at the Phillips Homestead in a couple of hours, I assure you, man. But yeah, there's some good stuff in there. That's where Charlie Brown makes toast and jelly beans, and Patty's all mean to him, and Little Birdie is a great little jazz ditty in there. So yeah, good. That's a good one. I'm a fan. I rank it number 3 of those, but it's a solid number 3.
Isn't that the one where Charlie Brown, and the little red-haired girl, finally hook up?
No, that's a different one, man.
All right, my man. Jay or nay? Shedeur Sanders wants to remain the starting quarterback in Cleveland. Jay or nay? Shedeur Sanders should be the starting quarterback in Cleveland the rest of the year to see what he's got.
Well, how's Dylan Gabriel doing?
He's back healthy. He's healthy enough to play.
I think Dylan Gabriel should start because that's who Stefanski wants. I am under the impression that Shedeur is going to start again this weekend.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So I imagine that's that job becomes a little more scrutinized. But by all accounts that I have heard, Gabriel is Stefanski's top choice. So.
Well,
there's that.
I think probably not the best kept secret in the world that Stefanski probably, if he had a chance to put the card up, wouldn't have taken Shedeur because they already had taken Dylan Gabriel. Just saying.
Yeah, which makes you wonder if that was a truck stop Jimmy move, and if truck stop Jimmy is now running the team.
Don't you think the homeless guy who told him to draft Johnny Football also told him to draft Shedeur? Right? Just saying. All right, Joe Burrow has been added to the active roster ahead of his return. Could play tomorrow against the Ravens. The Bengals are 3-8. That division isn't anything special, but the Ravens are now healthy. It's Ravens Steelers, and the Bengals defense is terrible. Should you just look at Joe Burrow and say, see you next year, get healthy, or should you play Joe Burrow, Jay or nay, play Joe Burrow this season for the rest of the year?
Nay. I just, if there's anything that can run the risk of him aggravating this injury to the point of it being more serious in the offseason, then nay. If he thinks it's not, and they want to get him some time, maybe. But otherwise, I'd say nay.
All right, Jay or nay? The Kansas City Chiefs play the Dallas Cowboys tomorrow. The Chiefs are 6-5. They had a huge win, come from behind win at home against the Colts on Sunday. The Chiefs will be in the playoffs. Jay or nay?
Jay, they will. I think they've turned a corner, and that was a good win for them the other day to prove they can do it. That Denver game was really good, and Denver found a way late. Kansas City's going to be they're good, and they'll beat Dallas tomorrow.
That was going to be my next Jay or nay. You beat me too. Jay or nay? Chiefs win tomorrow.
Yeah, Jay. Yeah, I think they'll do. I think they'll do enough.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big game for them, and they know it. And that's Dallas.
Dallas didn't they win? Didn't they win their Super Bowl?
Win the other day was really good.
Right. I mean, didn't they win their Super Bowl by beating the Eagles at home, coming back from 21? They're still drunk, right? They're not even sober to play Thursday.
But both these teams had big late wins, so. One of them's going to lose tomorrow. Well, we could have a tie, but I think one of them's going to lose tomorrow, and I think it's going to be the home team.
All right, Jay or nay? You believe in the Chicago Bears?
A little bit. Jay, a little bit. I mean, believe in them to do what? Not
Make the
win Super
playoffs.
Bowl.
Make the playoffs.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
I still look tomorrow. Green Bay, Detroit. Detroit can't lose that game at home, man. That's a big one tomorrow. But there's the Bears hanging around, so we'll see.
Jay or nay? Jay's going to eat a lot of Thanksgiving food tomorrow.
I sure hope so, my man.
Hey, seriously,
sure
bud.
hope so.
Great having you. We've missed you.
Thank you.
We've missed
Thank
you. Have a happy Thanksgiving, okay, pal?
You will. Yeah, we will. Thanks, man. Y'all too.